Episode 5 for Witch Hat Atelier was really a tipping point, both for the audience watching and the characters in the story themselves. It tests the might of our apprentices, especially of the not so well accustomed Coco. There's beautiful sequences of action that huffed a new breath of life into the anime. Finally, we get to see more of the main villain who, no matter the way you put it, is cooler than many of his equals across different stories for one reason. To start off though, let's see how Coco mends her relationships with the other girls. As I mentioned in the past videos, the theming around Witch Hat Atelier as a series is steeped in the fairy tale aesthetic. The messaging behind many of its conflicts and Coco's personality as well follows the trope of the unstoppable and optimistic protagonist. In terms of narrative, the conflicts are going to be tests of those sensibilities. Within the labyrinth, she is the catalyst for the sparks of an idea to get them out of this space. After making amends with Tetsuya and the rest of the girls, Tetsuya reveals her own special magic she developed. This snapped the synapses in Coco, who thought of the idea to use the soft clouds to lull the dragon to sleep. However, this was not a solution that the rest of the girls would have thought of. Agate wanted to use offensive magic to defeat the dragon in some sense. Following the archetype of an evergreen hero, Coco suggests that they don't try to go head to head with it. One reason for this was because they seem underpowered. The second, and more important reason, is that the dragon was hurt during their chase and, with how Coco put it, the dragon might be hurt for all they know. She believes magic should be used in kind ways to help people, and that includes creatures like the beast in front of them. While Tetsuya was explaining the dream she holds for her unique spell, she commented that it might not be all useful in this predicament. Coco, taking this to heart, still found the chance she could to recommend her plan in conjunction with Tetsuya's desire, but also of her own to help people using magic. She was purposefully watching out for the dragon when no one else usually would. It's due to a special combination of her chemistry with the world and circumstances. At the end of the episode, Quiffery acknowledges that Coco has this ingenuity that is special among anyone really. Even if she doesn't have a type of mechanical mastery, she can still flex her power of ideas in a world where magic is a blank slate. There's nothing that, assumedly, can't be overcome with magic. Given that she's not raised among the studies of witches and their rules, there's a certain power that she has with their creativity. Even in the scene while they're preparing the spells, Coco is able to pick up on useful techniques that others use. While she hasn't learned, it doesn't mean that she still can't. Apply Coco's heroic sentiments to this blueprint, and you have an interesting tug and pull with how far Coco can take this value and moral. There's another scene at the end that plays into this idea, but we'll get there in a little bit. So, the girls' plans are ready to go and they need to execute on it. Compared to the manga, we were given a lot more details regarding the specifics of the plan and how they were going to realistically make it. In that same vein, there is an intense sequence of the pairs they formed racing across the blank city in a frantic rush. To put it into perspective, I'll describe the timeline. When the girls kick off to initiate their plan, the manga ends the chapter then and there. Afterwards, we pick up where Coco is giving the signal to close the spell. Thereafter, it immediately fast forwards to the dragon enjoying the bed of sand. Now, taking a look at everything that the animators slapped in between all those moments, these sequences defined the interaction and empowered the girls themselves as capable witches. It seems much more adventurous, so for an anime original sequence, it felt refreshing and new rather than just derivative. They kept the respect for the source material in these moments. These new scenes also gave way for a more sensible and easily trackable arc of events. It established a new pacing that gave effective character moments and a more satisfying resolution as the dragon flopped back onto the fluffy clouds. As I reread the manga, I realized that this part of the conflict felt so small. It's not as if it was done poorly in the source material, but the anime transformed it in a way so that it could stand out against giants in the anime industry nowadays. this. The insane part about all of this was that the next action sequence is full of monumentality as opposed to what occurred in the manga. It's the part that everybody is talking about on social media. I'll do the same thing to show you how the manga presents this action sequence. We have Quifrey swoop in to save Agate from the dragon. Then he floats there, and as the dragon comes to him, he summons his own. Now, I love this part of the manga because the art is astounding. The composition of black and white splotching around each other creates a unique effect that presents the ethereality of the magic used. The animators wanted to do something more for the anime, so they added that sequence of Quifrey flying through the spines on the back. He blasts up through the clouds with a turbulent atmosphere, making the situation more pressing. Then, when he enters the space above the clouds, a piece flashes before our eyes when, upon closing the glyph, the spell sucks up all the water out of the sky, and Quifrey's own beast of nature collapses onto the blank town. In the same way as the sequence before, this battle showcases the ferocity of Quifrey. If we look at how the girls performed, we get to see the difference between apprentice and master. While they have the same tools, the experience is substantially different. It's amazing what the girls were able to accomplish, but it was absolutely breathtaking how masterfully Quifrey took care of the issue. That should have been the end of the episode, but we're once again introduced to the villain who set everything into place for this to happen. The brimmed caps, the one with the eyeball mask. In the midst of all the chaos, he has grabbed Coco and put her unconscious while Quifrey was diffusing the situation. Again, the manga had done a wonderful job of instilling his evil nature into the audience, but the anime just leaves us with this extreme dread. From the manga to the anime, the way they composed certain scenes was different. The difference that comes with motion is very tangible, but certain effects that the animation enhanced the scenes with. The blown out perspectives that gave an otherworldly atmosphere to this interaction. One thing that they definitely secured with this sequence is his mysteriousness in all of this. We knew the Masked Witch to be a random alleyway merchant selling picture books of spells and certain forbidden magic to those who were interested. His demographic seemed to be people like Coco. When he reappeared after the third episode, we knew that he's been watching Coco all this time and is closely following her steps moving forward after unveiling the witch world. Then, during this new sequence, we learn the most we ever have of him. He set up this entire blank town as a trial, the same as the Dada range, to test how Coco has been developing her skill. He states that he wants to teach Coco things that Quifrey won't. Quite frankly, we know he is talking about forbidden magic. The first taste of it was with the picture book. Coco pondered it on her exam in the Dada range. To this brimmed hat, he thinks that it's only a matter of time until Coco begins to get a hankering for something more intense. If we take a step back and look at Coco, she has connections to both sides. Quifrey is her teacher and the other girls are her peers. On the brimmed hats, we know that this guy has a desire for Coco to be his apprentice. This tug and pull between both sides, especially considering that Coco has grown up without the proper moral schooling of a witch, can be a difficult obstacle to overcome. Seeing as how Coco is so versatile with her intuition, her creativity can have opposite results than what she wants. Discussing this has clearly put this brimmed cap as not only a devious villain, but a very calculating and intelligent one. The way the camera angles and composition were framed during his reveal, it seemed to me that the anime wants the audience to know that he is in full bloom. There's nothing steering him away from what he wants. He thinks that everything is falling into place. As I detailed, we know this much, but it leaves so many unanswered questions. This villain of ours is very uninvolved while being influential. I believe villains today are lacking that mysteriousness, not only in terms of ambiguity, but also because we lack anything to go off of to really forge a hatred towards this individual. If anything, it just leaves me feeling unsettled. Now, I don't want to talk for so long, so if you're interested in more content regarding Witch Hat Atelier, please check out the shorts on my channel or TikTok if you prefer that. I'll keep uploading weekly analysis videos, so subscribe to keep up with that. This episode was really the decider that puts this series up there with the greats. Thank you very much for watching. See you all later, you cool people.